Hello everyone and welcome to your Online Learning Center Computer Science 20 class for the first quarter of the new school year. I'm Brennan Dunbar and I'm looking forward to meeting each of you. I've had the opportunity to teach this class 5 times in the past, so I like it a lot. I've really enjoyed my time online and I think you will too. So today's video is just to get you going in the class, and I'll try to keep it as brief as possible. One of the most important things, though, is that if you're having any questions, concerns, you can't figure it out on your own, please email me as soon as you can, and I can help you, particularly at the beginning part of the course. So I've got a little list of things that I want to talk about here before we actually get into the content for the course. And hopefully we can get through this in the first day or so, and then move on to the actual learning and assignments and quizzes and whatnot as soon as possible. So this is, we're doing a quarter system this year, which is different than the quint system last year. You're going to have 45 days of class for each of your non-semestered quarterly courses. And so that's a little bit longer than you would have experienced last year in the quint system. This first quarter starts today, September 1st, and will end on November 5th. So all of our work needs to be completed within that period. We're going to be using the Blackboard system, so it's called Blackboard Online Classroom, for all of our learning materials, all of our assignments. It's how you're going to get material, get videos, participate in discussions, as well as complete and hand in most of your assignments and projects. You don't need a physical textbook for this course, so don't worry about that. I have all of the materials we need online, including some digital textbooks as well that we can use for reference, but mostly the learning is tutorialized. It's in videos, it's in online, it's on websites that I've used to build information to help you build your skills and to help you complete the programs. And you're also welcome to use any resources outside of the ones that I posted for you, as long as we're not copying, pasting. We have to make sure that we maintain our academic integrity standards, and copy pasting is strictly forbidden in this class. All work you submit should be your own. So for each unit, typically there's going to be some live tutorial sessions and recorded tutorial sessions in addition to any other learning materials I have. It's really important that you do your best to attend our live sessions, which will probably happen 2 or 3 times a week. And I'll make sure I make a schedule so you know how to get into our virtual meeting spot and when the dates and times. I'm going to stagger our meeting times in mornings and afternoons, just in case anybody's got a job or an adult student or has difficulty meeting at one particular time. So keep your eyes peeled for that in the future. And one thing I want to mention right off the bat is that independent problem solving is just a huge and hugely important skill set to have in online learning, and particularly in dealing with Computer Science 20 online. Students tend to learn the material better and solve future problems more effectively if they're able to problem solve independently and sort of internalize and make that learning their own. It's one thing for me to kind of walk you through it step by step, and it'll get done, and it'll probably get done correctly, but oftentimes the actual learning that we're supposed to be doing about the concept is kind of wasted in that regard. So always do your best to independently problem solve using all the resources that we've got at our disposal. And there's a significant amount of resources that I have available for you in this class. So anything that you need to do with regard to your assignments and projects and even the final independent project, you have access to all of this information. Just sometimes it might be a question of where exactly to find it. Because we're working in a shortened time schedule with the quarters, there's certain things that you need to be able to commit to in order to be successful at this class. I'm just going to go through a brief list of those things. So you have to ask questions early and often. My email address will be posted several times. You will receive emails from me quite frequently. I like to send progress reports in PDF form to students and parents and guardians every 2 weeks or so. So you should never have a question about what your mark is. You can check it at any time on our classroom, our Blackboard classroom in the My Grades area, and you're also going to get progress reports that'll help you keep track of what your marks are and what assignments you've completed and which ones are outstanding. And the second thing is that we've got a course calendar that is extremely important for this class. It indicates what assignments are due and what dates, and it also indicates when you should be working on certain things. Because it's a shortened schedule and an online format, you do have to pay pretty close attention to the dates in which things are available and also when they're due. We don't have a whole lot of extra time. in the Quint system, in online school, and if you're taking any other online classes, or if you're going to a physical school and being in a physical classroom, the expectation is that you're going to spend 2 hours per day working on each of your classes. And that's something that sometimes causes some students some trouble in an online environment because, you don't have a teacher or somebody else there reminding you of times and dates and things like that, or holding you in a classroom. So you really have to be responsible for that for yourself, and you have to dedicate yourself to spending at least 2 hours a day on this course. If you find the material easy and you're getting, your work pace is extremely high, I strongly recommend you to move forward in the material. I don't want to slow anybody down, so if you're doing good work and you're getting assignments done and getting good marks and minimal feedback on things to improve, you can feel free to move forward and get as much done as quickly as you can. I often have students finish this class ahead of time because they really enjoy coding or they've got some previous experience with coding. And again, I don't want to slow anybody down, so if you feel like you can move ahead, please do move ahead. And I'll try to move ahead with those people individually, just making sure that their future assignments are marked and you're getting feedback in a timely manner so that you're not waiting on anything either. This being said, there also has to be a minimum sort of pace that we take in this class. I do have some flexibility with regard to due dates, but at the same time, you're going to have to do all the assignments eventually, so it makes most sense for you to stick to the course calendar as much as you can and make sure that you're handing things in on time. So I've got a couple recommendations for you to help things that we've learned over the years. I've both taught in an online environment and I've also learned in an online environment. And these are some things that I would recommend to help you, make sure that you're successful and you meet your goals this semester. So one of those things is I want you to print off. We have an assignments checklist and we also have a course calendar that I referred to before. These are probably the most important 2 documents in the entire class. And I recommend that you print them off and then you keep them near your workspace so that you can use it as a checklist to make sure you're getting everything done and make sure you're hitting all your deadlines. I'm going to show you an example of what that looks like. These will be both emailed to you as well. They will be available on our class website. So you don't need to copy any of this down, but I'm just going to minimize myself here and show you first off, the class calendar. So this is the class calendar. And in it, you can see that I've got, September, October, and then the very bottom line on the second page is just the first 5 days of November. And in here, it shows you what you should be doing each day, and it also has highlighted when each assignment is due to be handed in or completed. Everything is completed and handed in through our Blackboard system, so you shouldn't be handing things in via email. You need to be handing things in through our system so that we can keep track of them and everything's date stamped, and it just keeps, quote, a chain of evidence of the things that you've done so that we make sure that you get credit for the work that you've completed and the learning that you've done. So in this calendar, I've got all the key dates. I've got my recommended workflow. This is what you should be looking at today or reading or learning about. And it's got the dates where you're not expected to attend school marked off, etc. So I strongly recommend that you print this off and either tape it to the wall or just keep it with your learning materials, and then just put an X through each day just to make sure that you're moving at the pace that you need to be moving at. So that's the course calendar. Secondly, I do have a list of all of the assignments in the course, and this is what it looks like. Just minimize it a little bit here. So every single assignment in the course is in this document, and again, you can use it as a checklist, print it off, or you can keep a digital copy and just highlight them or check them off as you go through them just to make sure you're not missing anything. It shows you what number assignment it is. It also shows you how many marks, and then you've got a completed checklist there. So, for instance, I'll scroll partway down here. We have a section, a unit called Reboard the Robot, and in this section, the first 5 steps are actually part of the 6th assignment. So that's what the 6 is for. Assignment number 6, and then there's going to be 5 programs in that assignment. And, if we move down a little further, here in Python, variables and expressions, these 4 things are all part of assignment 11. So when you're handing in assignments, you usually have multiple programs in each one. It's usually not just handing in one thing. You're usually handing in, say, these 5 programs are for this assignment. So that's what those numbers refer to. But this is a list of every single assignment in the course. And if you check through that and you're doing everything that you need to be doing, once you get to the bottom of that list, you're done the class. So those are the 2 essential documents that I think you should print off right on the front end, just so there's never any question as to what you should be doing or when you should be doing it. We'll go through a bit more detail on our Blackboard learning environment as you get into the class, but I'll just quickly show you what it looks like. Several of you, or probably most of you, have done online courses in the past, so you're somewhat familiar with Blackboard. But what I want you to do for sure is, if you're not familiar with how Blackboard works, there's going to be a link in an email that I send you to help enroll in the class. And after you've enrolled in the class, I want you to go to the Start Here section of the website. And what that's going to do is it's going to have a copy of the video that I'm making right now. It's going to have links to those two crucial documents that I just went through. And also there's a Blackboard student orientation. So this is just like a 30-minute online tutorial session that shows you how to access materials in Blackboard, how to look at quizzes and fill them out, how to hand work in and submit digital files, and just things that you're going to need to do in order to experience success in this class. So if you haven't used Blackboard before, or if you know it's a little fuzzy from last year or the year before, make sure that you go through that orientation. It only takes about 30 minutes. It can save you a lot of time. All right, so that's where I recommend you start. And then most days, I think you probably show up on the home/announcements page. If we're going to have live sessions or other quiz coming up or something else that I think is really important, I'll post announcements. So it's a good idea to check the announcements page every day just to make sure you didn't miss anything. And then 95% of our time is going to be spent in this learning modules section. This is where all of the learning materials are, all of the videos, all of the external information on assignments and programming languages, things like that. So basically all the assignments and quizzes and exams and projects and all of the information that you need to complete them are located in the learning modules section. So that should be where the bulk of your time is spent. So at home, try to dedicate a specific spot and a routine that works for you. Students tend to have more success if they do their work in a class at the same time every day, and just build it into a routine. If possible, try to find a location that's quiet and there's minimized distractions. And make sure you take study breaks. You know, every hour, make sure you take 5, 10, 15 minutes. Just walk around, go do something else. Get your head off school. It can be troubling, or it can be difficult for some people to spend a whole day in front of a computer screen, myself being one of them. So it is important that you take some breaks, both for your brain, but also for your eyes. And this class involves a lot of problem solving and a lot of sort of mental exercises. And I've often found that if I get stuck on a program and it's just not working and I've tried everything and I'm getting frustrated, the best thing you can do for yourself is just go take a 10-minute walk and then come back and see if you are, sort of refreshed. And more often than not, I find that if I've had a chance to just get away from the screen and walk away and do something else for a bit, the answers come a lot easier when I get back in front of the computer, either that day or sometimes even the next day. So don't be afraid to, be good to yourself. Make sure you're taking breaks and try to manage your frustration. It would be unusual if you went the entire class without feeling like picking up your machine and throwing it against a wall. There's going to be assignments that you're going to struggle with, and for that, I just say that's part of the learning process. If something's not, challenging, you're probably not learning much. So embrace that, frustration and difficulty just in some regards, and be kind to yourself. You will get the answer eventually. I will help you if you require it. But I can tell you, the harder a problem is to solve, and oftentimes the more frustrating it is, the better you feel about it when you actually do solve it or learn what you need to do. So there's always a nice silver lining at the end of that frustration. And then just sort of find out you better than anybody else. So make sure that you find things to motivate yourself. You set goals that work for you and keep you on track. And if I can help you out with any of that, please let me know. So welcome to the class, and if you have any questions, don't be afraid to email me at any time, and I'm really looking forward to working with you this quarter.